Good morning. I guess afternoon. My name's Andy. I'm the training manager and affectionately known as Mr. Easy Stock. I'm going to give it 1 minute for anybody else to come in, and then we'll jump right in. I will add that this is a very informal thing. Some of the slides I go through. I spend some detail on it. Some of them I roll through quickly. Um, Open up if you have a question, open up your mic and say, "Hey, I'd like to understand that better," and I'll stop. It usually takes about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to run through this. Easy Stock is a very cool app. It's free, and we continue to develop the thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. I will ask that somebody chimes in that they can see this. Somebody raise their hand or open up. Can you hear me and see the Easy Stock logo? I'm gonna unmute yourself and somebody say that you can hear me. Let's see if I've done something wrong. I don't think so. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Andy. My name is Andy. I am the training manager and affectionately known as Easy Stock, Mr. Easy Stock. The couple of things that Easy Stock does really well is uh, looks up part numbers, model numbers, has exploded views. We now have technician carts. It effectively gives the technician their own account. You can give them order abilities or not. Obviously, ordering abilities within the app. You get estimated delivery as well as your cost and list price. And you can see how much stock that each of the fulfillment centers have. You inventory your shop and trucks, and there's a desktop version that's free also. We've already said who I am. The app's available at the Play Store, App Store. Download it. This is what the opening page looks like. You would log in with your same credentials as you would use for Encompass.com, your account number and password, and then that center screenshot. That's what the opening page would look like. In this, I start off on the inventory stuff, then I go into parts lookup, and then the desktop version, which is very brief because it's pretty much the same as the phone. So the inventory functions, some background on this app that my prior life, I ran a large service company, was a large Samsung service company. The number one failure of a Samsung servicer was inventory mismanagement. And that was some of the light bulb moment that Mr. Coolidge came up with that I'd like to have an inventory app to help servicers out. And then we threw in these other things and looking up parts and like that, and it's very much been grown and improved from there. And some of that is feedback from servicers. So to start the inventory side of it, um, we need a place to put our parts. And the guiding light on this app is simple, simple, simple has been, and I have very much fought complications. Make it complicated, users are not going to use it. So this literally, it looks a little complicated, but you can set up a truck in less than 30 seconds. So it's from the home page, set my truck fleet, brings you to the center screenshot there. Create trucks and bins. Third screenshot, give the truck a name. Name it however you're accustomed to naming it within your company and give it some bins. Don't worry about the number of bins. It's easy to add and delete them. Just give it some bins. This is effectively a box or a place where we put our parts. So once that's saved, to name them, you can leave it as 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, but if you want to give it a name, and again, use the lingo you're used to within your shop, um, back out to the second screenshot there, the next one down, add, delete, name bins, and name it. That fourth screenshot, some examples that I show there. Again, however you're accustomed to do it, and like that again, how you don't have to think about it. Whatever you're used to using, saving it. Now we have a place to put our parts. So this also in that same My Truck Fleet is where we show the total inventory dollars, inventory quantity, and bin count. The inventory dollars, that can be turned off. It's all over the map. Some servicers, they don't mind their technicians seeing how much inventory. Some are not a fan of that. So you can turn that off if you want, but that's where it's found. If you were to select that, it would bring you to the third screenshot, and it breaks it down by truck. And you can look at the dollars in each truck. If you swipe left a little bit, it will show the different bins and how much dollars in each bin. Excuse me, the other fairly new feature, if you select from the home page, or there's several different pages, if you select that Encompass logo up top, it will bring you to encompass.com. You're going to have to log in same as you would, but it's just a quick way of getting to it. Now to put inventory in it, I'll start by saying this is the way you would do it part by part. Um, if you have an inventory file of some sort, it can be uploaded, and I'll talk about that more when we get to the home screen, or the desktop version, I should say. So transfer in, it'll bring you to that second screenshot, and it happens instantly. Your camera now becomes a barcode reader. Scan the barcode, it'll populate everything that you see on the third screenshot there. So we know what it is, part number, pricing, descriptions, and all that good stuff. We need to tell it where to put it. What truck, and you'll see in that third screenshot, the blue circle, what truck and what bin we want it to go into. The next is how many and save. Now, the one thing we've done is if you are, the typical scenario is somebody says, I need to get organized on my inventory, and they're going to do it fresh. So it will remember what truck and what bin you're working on. So if you're doing a bin of parts and I want to scan what's in it, once you've scanned a part by truck and bin, then it's scan your second part. It's just quantity and save. Scan, quantity, save. Um, just don't forget to change your bin. And I've made the mistake in, um, you're scanning away and you're on box number 3 and you forgot to change the bin deal. That's the only thing, but it works really well. Um, this, I don't spend much time on this. It has a way to manually transfer in. If you were to have a damaged barcode or something like that, hit enter manually. As you start typing it, it will find the part number for you. This same thing can be done if you had some part you wanted to inventory that Encompass doesn't sell. Uh, um, I use cups as an inventory thing, just cups and go through the motions. The other thing I'll add, and I get asked this, um, and my punchline is, Encompass cares where you bought the part, but Easy Stock doesn't. So if you've bought a part from somewhere else, all we're doing is scanning the barcode. In the background, it's looking at Encompass database for descriptions and pricing. And the only thing it's going to use Encompass pricing. If you paid 50 cents more for it somewhere else, it's going to use Encompass pricing. This is the same as where I spoke about you can do anything. I use remote control for an example. Just know that it's there. It's simple to use. So now that we have some inventory, what do we do with it? So a few things happen, and we have ways of getting to um, the same place through a different road. This is probably a good way to describe it. Anyway, from the home page, manage truck inventory, it's going to list in the second screenshot every piece of inventory you have, each one of those boxes. If there's a picture, shows what truck, how many you have, what brand, pricing, and like that, and you can just roll all through it. A simple filter function with the blue circle there. Show an example of that on the third screenshot. Select the truck, and it'll only bring up that truck's inventory. If you want to do it by part number, you can put in a part number, and it'll show any of that part. Just simple filters. It works really well. This is just an HVAC truck showing examples of the different bins and the way it's done. The second screenshot is it's an antique Freon. Just manually add it. Obviously, we don't sell R12 anymore. Nobody sells R12 anymore. So in our I'm drilling down on an inventoried part. So in that first screenshot, I put Andy, my truck. I didn't put any bin. It's just everything. So these are some things that we did that a normal inventory program in their right mind would not let you do it. We did it in an effort to simplify things. If you had a one-off part that you used and you don't want it anymore, hit the garbage can button, it's gone. You want to change the stock level on the fly, hit the edit button, change it on the fly. You can change list price. If there's not enough room there, you can see in that example, cost was 16. I made it 500 bucks. So plenty of room in that one. So again, just on the fly. The second screenshot's the same thing. I've just narrowed it down to my Electrolux bin. Before you panic on me and say, hang on, I don't want people just doing whatever they want and check tech stealing from me and like that. I ran a shop. Unfortunately, I'm very familiar with it. That unfortunately technicians steal, and you feel like they're family, but they steal from you. Anything that happens within this app is recorded in inventory history. And I mentioned tech accounts. You will assign each of your technicians their own login. So anything they do, if they use a part on repair, they change your quantity, change your pricing, delete it, all of that is recorded in inventory history. So if you said, hang on, I smell a rat, you can go back in, smart guy's gonna, delete the ice maker and sell it on the side. You can see where he deleted it, he or she deleted it, and then, that's another, difficult conversation. So any changes made is recorded, and I'll get off my high horse here. So the last, just an example, I plugged in very common belt number, says my truck Asty's got it. I got four of them in the bin number 4. And down below, Andy's appliance truck has it in the Whirlpool bin. Just kind of some examples. Um, any questions at this stage? Again, I know what person just joined in. This is very informal. Open up your mic and speak openly if you have any questions or want to understand something better. Um, So this is where, in any inventory that everything that comes in has to be put into the inventory and everything that goes out has to be removed from the inventory in order for it to be accurate. So in this, every part has those three options on the bottom of it. Transfer the part. We can move it anywhere we want. And the inventory history will show it was here and it went to there. Use on repair. And then details. Details just brings you to what we call the pre-cart screen. I'll talk more about that down the road. It's before you place an order, gives you pricing and availability and all that good stuff. So this is the transfer. So you would select that. The top part of the page shows you where it's at, and the bottom or middle part there shows you, gives you your option. What truck do you want it to go to? What bin you want it to go to? And how many you're moving. Um, use on repair. So again, in the effort of simplicity, you have to give it a quantity. We have the option of you can either give it a name or work order number. Um, However you do it within your company, you can do one, both, or none and save. If you're using on repair quantity and save, that moves it out of inventory just to keep it accurate. If you want to know what customer it went with, put in your ticket number or your customer name. And again, it's all recording history, and I'll show that here in a second. So here's the inventory history. Um, any movement, and I've again have mentioned tech accounts. You'll see in that first screenshot Prime account. That's the main account holder has logged in with the account number and their password. So that's who this belongs to. And then you see all of the part details and the customer Smith with a ticket number. If you continue down that, I didn't circle it, you can see where it says deleted. I deleted a part. Next one down, I deleted a part. So again, any change there. Now going to the second screenshot there, technician Andy McPherson, that's me. So I'm the person that did it. Custom part detail, customer name's Tom, and a ticket number. Uh, Below that is another use on repair at the primary account. So that just everything is recorded in what happened with a part. This is where, and the inventory stuff, I'll pause at the inventory stuff that, you know, again, I mentioned that I owned a large shop. I sold the company. Shortly after that, and Compass asked me to come help out on the app from a real world servicer's perspective, not just developer's eyes. So, in inventory, and I've talked to a lot of servicers over the last coming up on 4 years that they go in with the best of intentions on transfer or the inventory side of it. And if you are, everybody's got more parts than they care to talk about. They've got more dead stock than they care to talk about. So a semi-common scenario is they go in with inventory with the greatest of intentions, and then the day-to-day of running a service operation, they start getting weak on their in and out on the inventory. And kind of knowing this, I bring this up. At least put all of your inventory in there the one time, even if you like, it's just too much the day to day. We're going to show you if you go to look up a part that you have it in stock automatically, and will allow you to sell your inventory. And this is where I tell people in Encompass, put your hands over your ears so you don't have to buy it from us. It's your money. Use your part first. And then if you don't have it, then worry about buying it from us. So that would be some incentive. And I'll show you why here in a minute to put your inventory in, even if you didn't want to do the day in, day out. Now, having said all that, in the beginning, this was an inventory application. And we threw that, let's look up some part numbers as a sideline. We have found that this has become a really, really popular deal. It works really well. I'm pretty anal in seeing that something like this works well. And in literally 30 seconds, you can have a part number, pricing, and what day you're going to get it. So if you are not a non-authorized servicer, this becomes a godsend in finding part numbers. Part number search, plug in your model number. I will tell you kind of ahead of time, we are working on it just in the beginning stages of having the phone scan the label on a unit and automatically figure out what model number it is and find the part numbers for you. It's going to be very cool. So this would be an older, there's a couple of ways. This would be, I plugged in a piece of a Samsung model number and it gives me rest of the flavors. So once I've selected the flavor that I wanted, it's just going to give a list of parts. Why? Because there's no exploded view on this model number. You can narrow your search, plug in your words, heater, and there's 4 parts in this model with heater. Only downfall of this is different manufacturers call things differently, and you just got to know that. Moving on, this model number, the standard Whirlpool refrigerator, plugged in the whole model number, details. It gives me some parts list, but the main thing is interactive exploded views. I can tell you we've had 2 significant upgrades in the exploded view, and right now it is incredible how well it works. Um, Thumbnails, as we all know and love, you will get the final, your thumbnail blown up, and now with your fingers, it will move around as smooth and as fast as you can move your fingers. You select a part. We're gonna use compressor as an example. Number 3, view details, and it brings you to that center screenshot of Easy Stock. We call this a pre-cart screen. So a lot happens in this pre-cart, and I show it in a couple of slides. It will, when you hit view details, it's going to think for 3-5 seconds kind of thing. And what it's doing is figuring out where are you at and what is the closest fulfillment center that has the part, and then what's this, and how many do they have, and what day are you going to get it? And then it's going to look at the second fulfillment center that has stock and display it. So in this example here, so that's why all that's going on in the background. So in this compressor, I'm based out of Davie or Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale didn't have any. The next closest location was Atlanta with 5. EDD is estimated delivery day. That day is very accurate. That's the day we expect you to get it at your front door. It takes into account cutoff times, weekends. Be frank with you, holidays aren't in it, but it works well. See your cost and list price. Getting a little ahead of myself. You in settings can decide whether you want to see cost, list, nothing, one or the other, or both. Made it universal. Moving on, second example there, very common belt. Fort Lauderdale has 50. They stop the quantity at 50. They have more than that. And for me, I get it the next day. So toward the bottom there, reference number and PO number. Reference number is about the customer. PO number is about the order as a whole. So some more on the pre-cart functions. If you have remote technicians, whether they're local or spread out, the drop down, it has a ship to, it will remember that until changed. So, and that's set up under, if you already have remote techs that you're shipping to, that's set up under encompass.com, additional ship tos. You put in the technician's name and address, and that's what populates this drop down. Up top there, looking at the second screenshot there, we have a copy and paste function. You can move that wherever you want. Again, moving down there, this is where I made that suggestion. At least put it in inventory one time. You If you go to look up that part and you have it in your inventory, we're going to tell you right there. Item in inventory. Click here. When you click there, it'll tell you what truck and what bin has it. As a kind of a side suggestion, I mentioned dead stock, and I'll talk about why, even if you inventory that here in a second. But just create a dead stock bin, and the other side is if you have shop inventory, name a truck shop, and whatever shelving or however you number it, do that for your locations. Moving on. So once you add something to the cart, we're looking at our cart in the third screenshot there. Line reference is Smith, PO number, and we're just holding that till we hit the checkout button. This is order by part number. It brings you to the same way if you just want to plug in any part number. either at the part number search or at the home page, brings you to the same thing that we've kind of gone over. Before I talk about this, I'm going to pause. Any questions on the Explode View, pre-cart ordering and like that? I shall move on. This is called order optimization. When we started this, it was a really cool idea, but to be frank with you, in the meantime, Encompass did some stuff in the background that kind of circumvented this. The idea is if you've got, 6 parts in your cart, um, shipping can be, has gotten to be a number everybody wants to talk about. So what Easy Stock does in the background is, and I'm going to use an example of 5 parts. It's going to look around the country and say, who has all 5 parts? And it's going to say, well, in this case, Dallas has them all. So the question is, do I want everything from Dallas and add some time to my, I'm in Fort Lauderdale again. Do I want them all from Dallas and have one shipping charge? Or do I want to split the order? I can get one piece from Fort Lauderdale, and I can have it tomorrow, and I would end up with 2 shipping charges. So, in the background, Encompass is looking at the most economical way to get the parts to you, and it's a balancing act of speed versus cost. And we're trying to complement that here. And the example would be Mrs. Smith is screaming at me, I don't want to wait 3 days from Dallas. Um, you know, charge Mrs. Smith the extra money, and I get my one part tomorrow to get her resolved. And again, if you don't want it, um, don't check it, and it'll run through just like create order, and it'll handle the order just like you're used to on today. So HVAC is just an example of in my presentation. I do this for some HVAC companies. We're in the HVAC business. Same pictures. HVAC parts don't. The exploded views, they're quite a bit behind. Um, the appliance stuff. So it's typically just a parts list, and here's just the same example like we've been through. If you are Whirlpool authorized, it will tell you if the part is wiseable or not and in stock at the manufacturer. If you're not Whirlpool authorized, ignore this slide. This is a quick reorder. It simply remembers the last 7 days of orders, and the idea is 2 clicks and place an order. So it's simply plus 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 check out, and your order's placed. So order history, we track everything. Order history, you can search it any way you want. Um, Technician, part number, manufacturer, and it'll find the order. Shipping details will bring you to the FedEx or the UPS site. I will, that's a test I did at my door. What's that on the side there? My wife is Norwegian. We have a 3.5 foot troll at our front door. That's what people have in Norway. It's kind of cool. Moving on. This is search nearby trucks. It's a very cool feature. People are more comfortable with it now than they once were. Before I chat about it, it does have an off function. If you said, hey, Andy, that all sounds wonderful and great, I'm not a fan, you can turn it off and the function goes away. Moving on. So the way this works, it has two folds behind it. And it's particularly good on the 2 reasons. One, on a no longer available part, I want to see if somebody else in the country has one. And number 2, if you have friendly competitors where you're short a common part that they have on their truck, you can, get a hold of Ralph. Hey, Ralph, I see you got this belt. I'm out of it. Can I get it from you? the transaction is 100% between you and the fellow servicer. This is just a convenience to either help you get a job done by finding a no longer available part, by selling a no longer available part, or getting a job done quicker. So, and the first thing somebody says, hang on, Andy, I don't want anybody looking at my inventory. I 100% get it. We don't start scanning until the fifth digit. So once you can't put in like just WH and look at all of that. Now, to be frank with you, if somebody wanted to spend 2 years of their life, they could figure, they could see some of the inventory you have. But reality is not so much. So I plugged in this is a knob. This is a list of servicers that had it. Lakes Electronics, that was my old company. Here's a servicer 500 miles away that's got it. Another one 800 miles away that's got it. Not a practical solution, but it may be that your buddy has it, that's 5 miles away. You can, so once you select that or hit the arrow, it brings you over to the third screenshot there. If they have their contact information, you could phone them, email it, or send a request through Easy Stock. You look at the map, it'll show where they're at, and it gives you little directions. I do have, and all that sounds good. So if you had, this is another reason to at least put your inventory in there one time. And if you had a bin called dead stock, at least it's out there for you to use and or perhaps somebody else to see and use. So here's a real life example of that. I happened to be traveling, so the distance was off. I don't know why they called me, to be frank with you, but there's the part number, an exchanger. I'm unfamiliar with what it is. Servicer was looking at, it's no longer available. What the heck, let's plug it in to search nearby me, and there is A to Z had it in stock. The servicers, I know exactly who that is. They happen to be on the other side of town. This is a true story, and I don't know the outcome of it. I just know that this is where the search nearby me worked in real life. So this is, I mentioned a different road, same outcome. At the home page, you can plug in your part number, model number. I'm going to use a part number as an example. And when you do that, you'll see there's three highlights will come up on it. My trucks, Encompass, and nearby. So it's my trucks, and it'll give you a list if your truck's got it. If you want to see if Encompass got it, there's Encompass in the details, brings you to the pre-cart like we're familiar with, and then the search nearby me, same function as we just spoke about. This is auto replenishment. We've done some improvements on this. Um, again, simplicity, auto replenishment. You select the left there, what truck's inventory you want to look at, and where do you want it shipped on the right. Typically, it's going to match. The next thing is, and this is the new part of it, what day of the week do you want it ordered? And there's a balancing act between keeping stock and paying for shipping costs. I tend to think Friday's the best day for once a week. Keep 10 days worth of inventory. It orders on Friday early in the morning. It's processed on Friday. Typically, you're going to have it Monday. So, and we don't do the min max and below this and above that. It's simple how many you want to keep. My yellow circle there, that's out of alignment. I want to keep three of them. Whatever day you pick, inventory will look at it, wee hours of the morning, and place the order for it. And the only thing you have to do, make sure you, once it shows up, put it back in stock so it doesn't reorder it for you. It's just that simple. How many do I want to keep? And from a prior business owner, don't keep much stock. The super common stuff, you're paying shipping to get it in. It's your money. You can get stuff pretty quick anyway. In the old days, it's kind of showing my age. We were a Sony and Panasonic servicer. Sony, it would take 2 to 3 weeks to get a part. And I've been screamed at more times than I can count over that, but that's the way it was in the 70s and early 80s. Obviously, to now, people complain that it takes a day to get a part. So just to keep that in mind. Settings. it's all pretty straightforward. Profile, basic information. We have a standard screen and a part number search screen. Keep it at standard screen. If you're only going to be looking up part numbers, you can use that. I think it creates some confusion and it only saves you one click. Back to the center screen there. This is where you set up what numbers you want people to see. And current cost, what primary account, the main login person, and what do you want your technicians to see? And again, it's all over the map. Just select what you want. The summary is that total dollar amount. Whether you do or don't want the technicians, that's where it's set there. And the log out button is on the bottom there. Again, all pretty straightforward. I will pause here. In the beginning, I said you can make your list price anything you want. Cost is not editable. We see no reason to do that. And the main line of thinking is for warranty billing. If you paid $10 for it, you should be reimbursed for 10, and then don't want there to be any confusion on it. FAQs, I wrote it. I call it Street English, and try to do a quick start guide, kind of what's new, and then try to, what function you try to do or understand it. I am here to support the app, and I'll give my contact information at the end of it. Don't hesitate. And again, the Encompass up top, hit that, and it'll bring you to encompass.com. This is a desktop version. It's pretty quick because it's pretty much the same thing and acts very much like the phone. This is where we set up the technician accounts, and I spent a couple minutes on that. This is what it looks like once you're logged in. Again, all very self-explanatory, and this a dashboard of what's going on. This is the inventory page, all of your edit functions, your transfer functions, search. If you want to download your inventory, it's a CSV file. That is just a watered down Excel file, but it will allow you to manipulate it pretty much any way that you want. And some people, they want an external side of it. That allows you to do that. This is, I mentioned that if you had some sort of file and you can upload it, it works really well. I just had a servicer. We did 5,000 line items with him and work with me on it. It again works well, but it does not like mistakes. There is a sample download there. If you follow that, it will work. But any questions, bring me into the loop. And I had to fix his file once. Okay, I got it. And then he went and did rest of his trucks. This is what I changed my slides around this morning because I wanted to try to make this easier to understand. This is what the pre-cart looks like on the desktop. I'm logged in as the main account, Lakes Electronics. All the same information, the quantities available, when I'm going to get it, where I want it shipped to, same with a customer and a PO number. And I can order. I've got the buy now function that tells me that I can order it. If I put it in cart, I can place the order. Here's the drop down of the ship to locations. This is where we set up the technician accounts. So I'll start in the middle there. Every login is done with the account number, and there's been some confusion. Here's why I focus on it. Account number, underscore, and whatever name you've given the technician. Keep it short. And again, that's the requirement. Andy just can't log in as Andy. It's account number, underscore, Andy, and you've given the person their own login. And again, anything is tracked, and I'll explain how this works, and it's really, really cool. So the active button there, hey, I have the permission to log into EasyStock and use it. I can edit that and make them unactive, and I will lose the use of EasyStock pretty much immediately. So if you want to add technicians to the account, add technicians. Basic information, keep their login name short, no sense in dragging it out. Regular name, phone number, password. We don't make it that complicated. If a user were to forget their password, primary account logs in. A technician does not have access to this. Primary account logs in, changes the password, hits the submit button, and that's changed. Now at the bottom there, that's where two pretty important buttons. One, the top one makes them active. So if I were to look under Andy, there'd be a checkbox there. Uncheck it, and Andy doesn't get to use Easy Stock anymore. The bottom one, and these are defaulted off. This allows the technician to order parts. Most servicers that I've spoken to do not allow technicians to order parts, and this is where this next feature comes in really cool. So, but if you have somebody, and I've talked to a couple that allow technicians to order, this would allow them to, actually hit the go button and place an order. I don't read this verbatim, but basically, we've given each technician their own login. One of the backstories is that if you, in the old days of Easy Stock, there was only one login. So the technician who's only been with you for 3 months can now log into encompass.com and look at all the business side. This will not allow, they cannot do that. This only allows them access to Easy Stock. Management can see anything that individual did. If it was one login, you don't know who did it. You just know something happens. The technicians individually can put parts in the cart all day long, and that is their cart. It's Andy's cart. It's Fred's cart. Um, and then the um, triage person, manager, owner on the desktop would look at all the field parts that are in the cart and decide whether they want to place the order or not. And you can manage that with an X, the parts out of the bin. Technicians want to order everything, but management's got a right to check for it. So you can, or if you say, no, those three parts aren't going to fix it, and you can add a part to his cart and like that. So that's how that works. And now let's kind of look at it in real life. So I'm logged in now as Andy. I do not have order privileges. You can tell by the buy now is grayed out. And the same checkout, if I were in the cart, would be grayed out. Here's what it is. I want it for a job. I want it for Andy CC. No, that's the ship to. Line reference, I have not put a customer name, and I put a PO number there. Siraj. He's got a ship to there. The customer's Ralph. There's his PO number. And again, does not have order privileges. Fred, same thing. Customer name, PO number. That's a typical example that I think is a good PO number, a date, and the technician's name. It just kind of flows within an organization. And again, no order privileges. So now here's the cart. You see the circle, we've got 9 parts in it. I can scroll up through it. You can look, the prime account, the main servicer's got a compressor in, and they put in a heater. This is where it kind of gets cool. So before cutoff, um, I searched Siraj. The only thing I'm going to see is Siraj's parts. I can tell you one of my pet peeves is how big they've made these boxes. I want the boxes smaller, and it's on my hit list to make that happen. Um, and so you can see more without having to scroll. But in any event, to refocus, if I didn't like it, hit the X. Siraj doesn't need that motor. It never fails. And I can nip that from the order. And if I were to roll up, there's a checkout button on the bottom, and I just ordered all of Siraj's parts. Now I'll back up and say, back up, not forward, that if I just hit the scroll down, hit the checkout button, it would order everybody's parts. I don't have to individually do that. I can just roll through the list. If I felt warm and fuzzy about it, I can hit the checkout button and Easy Stock in the background. It'll send them to Fred, it'll send them to Siraj, and send it to Andy without doing anything. Likely is, particularly with a new tech, you want to go through and make sure that you're okay with what that person has put in the cart and hit the checkout button. So don't wait till the last 5 minutes of cutoff. warehouses, they get really busy, and I understand the time of waiting until the last minute, but not overwhelm them. So that's it on the kind of the technician. I run through a couple features. That's a lot to consume. I do get some questions on this sometimes. And again, speak openly, you're among friends. I shall move on. Barcode scanner. Um, this was a feature. It's been around a while now. You'll see in the list there, Nadamu. It's a $35 wireless scanner. If you're doing your inventory in the shop, well worth the $35. It works well. It's what we used for testing, and it reads barcodes well. If you're doing a ton of inventory, it works well. Have one person at the PC and one person at the shelf. And by the time the shelf person has the barcode, the bag leveled out and like that, and counts what's there, the PC person's put in the prior number, and it works like that really well. But that scanner is worth the investment rather than using your phone. This is the golly, the inventory screen, same as the phone. When you scan it, plugs in all the basic information, and it remembers the truck name and the bin location just like the phone would. This is the auto replenishment. Again, same as the phone. Just pick how many days you want it done and the quantity and save. Encompass.com. I don't know why we did this. And here you can't hit the logo. You got to go to encompass.com on the left there, and that will bring you to encompass.com pretty quick. Side note, if you hit the Easy Stock logo up there, it'll bring you to encompass.com. And please don't make any jokes. This is a parts usage report. You'll see that about the middle of the screen there. It's simply anything that happens to a part, it's going to pop up on this list. And you can see that we have transfer in, cost updated, price updated, deleted. On the right side there, you'll see if it's got a work order or a customer name attached to it. This is what that report does. Um, Three functions: find your part numbers, location, delivery day, simple ordering, including tech carts, inventory management, and mobile and desktop versions. And they're free. That's kind of the best part of the whole deal. A lot of money, time, and effort into this, and we believe it works well. We've got tons of users using it. Looking up saves times. You get the correct part number. Um, with the technicians, I talk to shops at the technician in a customer's home, calling the shop finds out the part number, technician in the home, and the customer staring at him, all the lookup and like that, and then the technician, calls back, or they do the texting thing. You get out of all that. And uh, I'm not going to read each one of these. What's new? uh, uh, Splitting orders I spoke about, the direct-to-consumer orders. Under that, I kind of missed that. The additional ship tos are your remote technicians. There is a customer ship to. And the example would be you did a repair on a stove and you need a knob. You could go in, plug in all the customer information, and it will blind ship now. It used to show the pricing, and you can ship that order to the customer. Um, Search history. Why didn't I have that a slide on that? I don't know. I guess I'm getting weak. It's a really cool feature that it will remember on the phone or the desktop um, the last 100 um, model numbers or part numbers you've plugged in. And, it's common to have to go back and look at the part number again. So the example on the Samsung dryer, if I plugged in when you go to that page, I cannot believe I didn't update that. It will show you, this big long list. But if you type in DV, it'll narrow that list down to DV, and it happens instantly. You'll see your model number that you looked up 2 minutes ago. Click that, and it'll bring you right there. I've already had some great feedback on it, and I will see that I update my slides. But you'll see it very pretty much self-explanatory. And again, the exploded views, we've done a tremendous amount of work on that, and they work really well. What we're working on is quick transfer, and the idea is for less than 1 minute is my goal, that a technician could come into the shop, pull 10 parts, temporarily put them in his or her truck, and then the next morning return 5 of them. The other 5 would be used on repair. Right now, that transfer in and out, it's okay, but in a real world, it takes too long. So we are improving that, and we're in the beginning stages of it. And that came from a fellow servicer. I mentioned the ability, and this is using some AI to and we actually had another company that did a tremendous amount of work in how do we find, we take a picture of the uh, label of a unit, and there's millions of them, and it figures out that this is the model number, and we're going to figure out this is the model number, and here's your parts list without having to type in the model number. Um, and that's pretty much it. Thank you. Customer support, warehouse, and logistics. Encompass makes it simple. There's my contact information. If you need anything, reach out to me. I'm here to support the app or anything in training. I can tell you that I've been with them a couple of years, and our training was not that great, and I'm being nice. My focus was to improve the quality of training. We've brought in manufacturers and partnered with them to put on manufacturer training in person. It used to be that only Atlanta got 90% of it. Davie got a little bit, and nobody else got anything. We have spread it across the country, and we have our virtual trainings that are typically an hour or so long, and that anybody can attend. So that's all I got. I do these about once a month. If you miss something, again, I saw somebody just joining now. We're at the end. So again, any questions? There's my email or my phone number. I'll always answer. And on that note, thanks for attending and have a good day.